Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I have an article here from a Russian source, and it's just interesting to see how it was produced. It's very interesting. These people are not idiots when they make articles, but that's why they make articles. That's why they work for Sputnik. So this article is from today, the 10th of October 2022, and this is the title: US calls for peace talks on Ukraine, nothing but hypocrisy, Russian Foreign Ministry says. And we have here, of course, Zakharova, and she says that Washington's calls for peace talks in Ukraine are hypocrisy. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova said, commenting on statements by U.S. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby. I think yesterday Kirby came in front of his audience and he stated that the conflict in Ukraine should be only solved in a diplomatic way. Now, I couldn't stop laughing when I read that one, because they are the supporter of the whole thing. And his diplomatic way, okay, like when, how? So it seems like the Russians also picked up on that, and they make fun of that with evidence. So earlier, Kirby said a way out of the situation around Ukraine should be sought through diplomacy. I mean, do you remember December 2021? I sure remember that, when the Russians tried the last thing after they sent the United States a memorandum, piece of paper with steps to avoid anything. And he said, okay, I think, the Russians said, we think that our security is threatened, and let's do this and let's do this and let's sit down and talk. You know what the Americans did? You didn't start a war yet? Man, you're late. Come on. So the Russians waited 2 more months, and it happened what happened. And now these guys say that they need diplomacy. Really, after several months and a half? Is that what you need, diplomacy? Of course diplomacy, but under what circumstances? At the same time, he noted that Washington did not see Russia's serious intentions to negotiate with Kiev. I mean, without being a bullshitter here, Russia was always open to negotiate. Always. The other ones said, no, we're not going to negotiate with you. Hey, Washington, what do you think? Unless you, you're dressed in white, or you're dressed in green, or you, you shave today or something. They always found some reason that was obvious that could not be met. The Russians would not even start doing that. They said, we're not going to discuss with you until you do that, until you do that, until you do that. Why don't you sit down, and when you sit down in front of one another, you can discuss that too. You, from the very beginning, you stop the whole process from the very beginning. Why don't you go and talk and discuss things? And then you say, okay, I disagree with this. Can we solve this? No. Okay, put it aside. Next one. How about this? Can we negotiate on this one? Is there any leverage left, right? Is it? No. Okay, put it again. Something. This. Oh, I'm thinking about. Yes, we can work on this. That's how it's a process. You don't have to, before you start a negotiation, you have to be perfect. If you're perfect, there's no negotiation at that point. So yeah, this guy has just serious intentions of negotiations. And I'm quoting Zakharova. There is nothing but hypocrisy and poorly disguised attempt to continue fighting to inflict a strategic defeat on us behind these false calls for peace, Zakharova said in her official commentary. Zakharova stressed that Washington's calls for peace were heard against, I'm quoting, against the backdrop of large-scale arms supplies to the pro-Nazi Ukrainian regime, end quote. So he said, let's talk about peace, but in the meantime you give them weapons. You say, well, what, you want to stop everything? Probably that would have been stopped before, but remember what the Ukrainians said when the Russians asked to have a ceasefire and talk? No, we're not going to do that, because that would give the Russians time to recuperate and all this. What the? You know what I mean? I mean anything they don't want to negotiate about anything, or not they. It's not they. It's those guys, and they say, well, Ukraine is independent. It's not independent. When the United States tell them to negotiate, they will negotiate. That's why Putin wants to negotiate with the West and doesn't have anything to do with Zelensky. He said it's useless to talk to Zelensky because the decisions are not made by Zelensky. So why you waste time with him? Let's go straight to the source. And I totally agree with that. It says that the longer the United States encourages the subversive activities of Kiev, and I'm quoting, the more problematic it will be to find diplomatic ways and settlement, she said, of settlement. Now then, you said, that guy Kirby says that, and now Blinken reiterates U.S. support for Ukraine after Russian missile strikes. Okay, well, there's no sign that you want to do anything but keep doing the same thing you're doing. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Monday reiterated his country's support for Ukraine after Russia hit dozens of Ukrainian targets with missiles in the morning, as a retaliation for those guys hitting the bridge, mind you. All right. And he said, I just spoke with, and I'm quoting, Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba to reiterate U.S. support for Ukraine following the Kremlin's horrific strikes this morning. I didn't hear this person, Blinken, saying anything that, hey, horrific attack on the Crimea bridge. Why is there a double standard? I mean, obviously I'm asking like I'm a retard, but, we know exactly why. But, you see, that's why these guys are not serious. If rape is a bad thing, it doesn't matter who rapes. You know what I mean? You can't just say, hey, because my brother raped, it's okay, but because the guy I don't like raped, that's rape right there. Basically, this is what's going on here. I exaggerate a little bit, but it's even more serious than that because people here die with thousands. We will continue to provide unwavering economic, humanitarian and security weapons, security assistance to Ukraine can defend itself and take care of its people, he said. Yeah, with four Ukrainians on top, right? With Zelensky, with Zmihal, Reznikov and Yermak. With those four Ukrainians, they will take care of Ukraine just fine. Now, you would expect that the United Nations is a impartial body, right? No, it's not. Guterres, who's the U.S. Secretary General, held a phone conversation with, you would expect, with both parties, right? That's what I would do. If my kids start fighting, two of them, I talk, hey, what's going on with you? Hey, what's going on with you? I don't just dump on one. So no, it's not like that. He spoke only with Zelensky. On Monday, UN spokesperson Stephanie Dujarric told reporters he did speak with President Zelensky this morning, Dujarric, and said during a press briefing the two sides covered the ongoing situation in Ukraine. He added, how about the other side? You're United Nations after all. You're not US United Nations, but we know it is. And then we go to NATO. So we got first look Kirby, then we got Blinken, then United Nations, and now we go to NATO. See where NATO's gonna stay. NATO head says discussed continuing support for Kiev within Ukrainian foreign ministry with Ukrainian foreign minister. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg, a weasel, on Monday assured Ukraine Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba of the bloc's continued support for Kiev as long as it takes, following Russia's massive retaliatory strikes on Ukraine. Well, the fight here is from NATO against Russia, and Ukraine are the idiots who die. NATO uses weapons, give these idiots weapons, and command. They command NATO. The Ukrainians are just over there with Ukraine, Slava. Okay, guys, you're gonna die, and you're gonna die, and you're gonna die. And the Russians are gonna die. And some people far away from those lands are laughing. That happened in the Second World War. That happened in the First World War. And then we got the third here, the last one, and the whole group is Biden. Biden condemns Russia's Monday morning missile strikes on Ukraine. So he is very upset with the Russians hitting infrastructure, but he was not upset with the Ukrainians hitting Russian infrastructure. So that's why you don't even have to listen to this kind of people, because they are unfair. The United States strongly condemns Russia's missile strikes today across Ukraine, including in Kiev. These attacks killed and injured civilians and destroyed targets with no military purpose. What about the other one? Well, he doesn't even know what day of the week is, so I asked too much for this guy. They once again demonstrate the utter brutality of Mr. Putin's illegal war on Ukrainian people. Yeah, how about the Serbian people, Mr. American President? You remember those? You remember 1999? When you're gonna go and grab Bill Clinton by his old dingy-lingy and get him to a tribunal, preferably like a Nuremberg style tribunal, so then he's probably get but please conduct that tribunal exactly as it was conducted in Nuremberg. You can tell I have a little bit of problem with that, because I read a lot about it, and it's outrageous. The so-called how do you call it, authorized version of the Nuremberg trials. Just read as much as you can about that. It's just, and I'm not saying that, oh my God, the Nazis should have been spared or something, but if you are conducting this kind of procedures, and you say justice and all that, and prosecutors and attorneys and judges and this, do it right, and wherever the chips may fall, but they wanted all of them to fall on one direction, and yeah, there was a lot of things. But so yeah, take Clinton, as I said. Albright is too late to get her, because she's over there with Moses right now, and then not with Jesus, and then we get the other weasel from Great Britain. Remember Tony, and Tony Blair. Get those first, and you get the one for Iraq, of course, Bush and all those Cheney and all those Rumsfelds who died or something, or all those. Take all those and get those, and after that we talk about brutal and attacks and illegal killing civilians in Serbia and Iraq and everywhere else. So shut your mouth. I'm not saying that you can do two wrongs make a right, but hold on. Before you get to this one, you solve the other case, and then 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 the and when you get to this one, you take care of this case. But there are so many cases in the past that you just consider them as being fantastic, and a lot of them were just worse than this one. 2 atomic bombs, I think, on civilian population. Anybody got hurt? No. The justification was, our boys, we saved our lives. Well, what if the Russians will drop some bombs right now in Ukraine and say, we saved some of our boys' life? What remains? You're gonna say, well, you were an offensive war. So was United States then. It was in Japan. They were beating the shit out of them at that time. So however you want to, it was a different time. Okay. So however you twist it, you still have to go back in time and distribute justice. If you use this justice here, which I agree with that, yeah, use it here, but use it impartially. Then go back first and solve that, and then you get all those cases, and when you get to these guys by, I don't know, year 3000, then punish these guys who are dead 80 years already or something, almost. Anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.